Hi everyone, this is Tuplex. Welcome back. As you can see, our field is nearly complete with the seeding of canola. I still have a hired worker on there. I finished all the plowing, and we just have to finish seeding this last couple of strips. So while the worker continues doing that, I'm going to take this tractor back to the farm and put the subsoiler away. And I don't think we're going to need to do the plowing very often. In the new version of the game, you only need to plow. Well, you need to plow if the field needs it when you initially buy it. And then after that, you only need to plow after you've harvested, I think it's corn, sugar beet, potatoes, and was it sugar cane? Here, let's not guess. If we go to the help menu, you go to improving yield, plow after corn, potatoes, sugar beets, and sugar cane. Okay. And I don't have any plans to do those crops right now. But later on in the game, if we get into cows or, lots of silage operations or even pigs, then we'll need to do corn. So that could be a possibility. And then, of course, as we buy new fields that need to be plowed, we'll need to do it then. So I'm going to hang on to this subsoiler for future use. Actually, you know what? Since I don't have a trailer, I think I can back up the normal way. Oh, but let's wash it off first. I put the power washer on the other side. And then once we get that done, then we'll finish up the seeding of the field ourselves if there's any left to do. Oops, wrong button. There we go. So we'll get this stuff washed off and put away. In 17, there was a mod that I was enjoying that was called Clean Crew. And basically when you have that mod running, every night there were some invisible elves that would go around and clean your equipment for you. And I liked it because, your stuff would still get dirty as you did work with it. But then you didn't have to ever bother cleaning it by yourself. A little bit cheaty. Actually, if they implemented that mod, but there was a daily cost, I think I would be totally fine with that. That would just simulate that you were paying somebody to keep your stuff clean for you. Okay, and I'm going to drop it here. And then that way we can park other stuff in front of it if we want to. All right, and then I'll park the tractor over here because I don't think we're going to be needing it right away. Great, we still got plenty of fuel. Let's check maintenance. So here we can see the maintenance level for all the equipment. I'm not sure if... I know that the performance of the equipment will start to deteriorate when it needs maintenance, but what I'm not sure is if those effects only come into play when you hit 0, or when you hit 0% on the maintenance, or if it just stops working when you hit 0. I'll have to experiment with that a little bit. Okay, so we can see here that our fertilizer is depleting a little bit faster than the seed. But I think we'll have more than enough to get finished here. And I think the use of fertilizer is constant no matter what crop you plant. But I know that the game does consume seed at different rates depending on what the crop is. So canola, I think, is one of those that doesn't use a lot of seed per hectare or square meter, however you want to think about it. The other crops will require different amounts of seed. And I don't recall which are the big consumers and which are the small consumers, other than I know that canola is one of the smaller consumers. All right, so we'll do this. We'll finish this off manually, save a few bucks. If you're keeping track of the money, I think when we started this field with both of those hired workers, I think I had around 71 or 72,000. So it's not inexpensive to use hired workers for this. And I've been giving this some thought. I bought this seeder rather than the Rapid A, the Vaderstadt, which has the 6 meter width, and seeds and doesn't fertilize. I bought this one because I was thinking, well, we'll save time because we'll only have to do one pass on the field, even though it's only 3 meters wide. But I've been giving this some more thought, and I think it'll actually be better to use the wider seeder. And my reasoning goes like this. With this one, we only have to do one pass, but we have to do twice as many passes as we do with the 6 meter. So the labor cost, if we use a hired worker, the cost to do the field is twice as much because we'll have to do twice as many passes. And in fact, it might even be more than twice as much because at the end of each pass, the workers have to turn around. And the workers are pretty slow when it comes to turning around. This one has a speed of 18. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm using this one. This has a speed of 18 kph. This one also has a speed of 18 kph. So we could say that the labor cost of using this seeder would be less than half of what it is using this one if we were to use a hired worker for the whole thing. And let's say that my time has the same value as a hired worker's. And then we would have to do another pass to fertilize, but we can do that with the sprayer, and the sprayer only needs 4 or 5 passes. The sprayer's a little bit slower than this, but still the total labor cost to do both passes with the Vaderstadt as well as with the sprayer is going to be less, and obviously the total amount of time that it takes to do it is going to be less. So, with all that being said, I think when I'm done with this field, I'm going to clean up this equipment and get it to a full state of repair, and I'm going to take it back and sell it, and I'll just get the Vaderstadt to replace it. And just besides that, besides just the purely financial reasons for doing that, I think it'll be better on a Let's Play to be able to get through the fields more quickly as well. So that there's a little more variety in the tasks that I'm performing on camera. Okay, I think I might have 1 or 2 little strips that I'll need to come back and touch up. But you know, for starting out, this is a great machine. I really wish that we still had there was a Great Plains seeder in 17 that was 3 meters wide. It attached directly to the back of the tractor rather than being trailed like this one. So it was much more compact and easy to maneuver and turn around with. And that one would seed and fertilize. Now I think that it didn't cultivate, so you couldn't seed directly. You had to have a cultivated field. But for starting out, I would rather have that than this one, to be honest. Okay, it looks like I'm not missing any spots. So I think we're done here. So we'll go ahead and turn that off. And then let's take this back to the farm to, we'll empty out the seed and fertilizer that we have left. We'll take it to the workshop and do a quick repair on it. From what I've seen so far, the sell price when fully repaired is better than the sell price for a machine that needs maintenance. And it looks like you get a larger increase in the sale price than what it costs you to do the repair. So I think it's always a good idea to repair before you sell something, to make sure you get the most money you can for it. All right, so I'll wash it off. I want to wash the tractor anyway. I don't think the state of cleanliness has any effect on the sell price. But we'll do it anyway, just because we're nice guys. And if you were actually going to sell something, you would probably want to clean it first before you start negotiating your price. Sometimes it frustrates me that it takes so long to clean the front weights. All right, come on. Get clean. All right, that's good enough. All right, now I'll come over here next to where this other fertilizer thing is. And we'll empty this out. So I think I just hit the I key. Okay, yeah, so I've got 2 pallets of seed, or 1 full one and 1 partial one, and then some fertilizer. And we'll take this over to the shop. Okay, yeah, shop's down that way. I'm going to try to start using the map less and less so that I can force myself to start to memorize where things are. Because as long as I have the map, it's kind of a crutch, and it'll prevent me from remembering where things are. Okay, over here. Okay, and detach. I think I'm finally starting to get where the detach and raise and lower buttons are. Oh, I forgot to repair it. Okay, well, let's look at this. $26,696 is the sell price right now. Repair is $143. And now it's $26,868. So I think that's slightly more than what we spent to repair it. Okay, so now we got 95,000. Let's go ahead and buy that other seeder. We'll take that back to the farm. Even though we don't need it right now, I'd rather just get it purchased. That way we'll ensure that we don't spend the money on something else and then not have a seeder. Okay, let's try to do this in cab. Okay, now this one, let's see, what was the capacity on this one? This one's got a 3,100 liter capacity. So I think while I'm here, I'm going to buy another bag of seed. Okay, and it's already there. So I'll put that one in, and then we have another pallet and a partial one back at the farm, and that way it'll be close to full for the next time we need to use it. All right, so the next thing that we need to do is wait for our crops to grow, since they're both fully seeded and fertilized. So I'm going to go ahead and speed up time to 120 times. That makes the day go by pretty quick. All right, and I'll just park this in front of the plow, and then we'll get ready to harvest. Now, as soon as we see our first growth stage, I expect that some weeds are going to start to show up. So as soon as we start to see, oh, you know what? Let's fill this up the rest of the way. As soon as we start to see crop appear on the field, I'm going to slow time back down so that we can check if it needs to be weeded or not. And if it does, then we'll go buy a weeder and use the weeder to get rid of those. Now, the weeder is only usable during the first growth stage of the crop. So if the crop grows more than once, then you can't use the weeder anymore to get the weeds, and then you have to use herbicide. And I think we should always try to use the weeder when we can. Okay. All right. It just grew. So let's check and see if we need to do any weeding. No. If we needed to weed, it would be purple. And that's not showing up. All right. And that's unfortunate because that means that the weeds are going to appear later and we're going to have to use herbicide to get rid of it. Okay, back this up a little bit more. All right, I think that's good enough. Okay, let's go take a look at the field here. Right. Yeah, so it's weed 0%, fertilized 100%. And that's good. Except that we're going to have to use, I'm sure the weeds are going to show up, but let's speed up time again. And we'll wait for the next growth stage and see if we need to do anything. And in the meantime, we can just keep an eye on things. All right, so the other thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to go back to the shop and I'm going to get a front loader and a pallet fork so that we can move those pallets out of the way. Now I'm looking, oops. Good thing those posts are not destroyable. So the time is about 1,600 hours. So if I'm not mistaken, the next growth stage will come around 8 hours from now, which will be midnight. So we'll check it again at midnight and see if any weeding needs to be done. And we didn't buy a house, so we won't be able to... I'm going to lower and... Okay. I guess I'm not going to lower it. I'm just going to remove that front weight. All right. Let me check and see which... Yeah, I'm not sure which front loader this is compatible with. The 30 or the 60. I think it must be the 30. So let's go ahead and buy that. We can get that in New Holland colors, so it matches. And then we'll buy the pallet fork as well. And I'll leave that as black, since it's going to get scraped up all the time anyway. And then I'll put this weight on the back of the tractor to take it back to the farm. All right, it's starting to get dark outside. Let's see if there's been any change. No, it looks like we're still... Sometimes it's hard to match these colors. Looks like we're still in the first growth stage. Yeah, I think we're still in the first growth stage. All right, let's turn on some lights. I am so happy that they have added interior and dashboard illumination in this version of the game. It's really awesome. The lighting in general, I think, is one of the biggest improvements between 17 and 19. I think the lighting is just fantastic. The only thing I would still like to see that's not there is for the beacons to actually show up outside the vehicle. You know, I have the beacons on, but you can't see the yellow lights on anything around me. I'm sure they probably did that for performance reasons, but that would be the only thing I would like to see improved. But that will probably have to wait for the next version of the game. All right, so let's go get those pallets moved out of the way. And probably by the time we get done with that, it'll be close to morning. You know, I probably should have waited for midnight to see if I need to buy a weeder or not. Well, I think it'll be too late anyway. Okay. So which side do I need to get this from? All right, from this side. So I'm going to need to zoom in close to the side. Okay, so we got hit with $1,400 of interest. That's not too bad. Let's see how we're doing. I think we've advanced our growth a bit. Yeah, and now we have weeds that we need to take care of. So we'll do that first thing in the morning. See if we can get these pallets picked up. I just need to check the height from the side because it's really hard to tell if you've got the right height from inside the vehicle. And it's actually hard to get lined up from inside the vehicle too. Okay. Ooh. All right. I more or less got it. All right, this is our liquid fertilizer, so I think we'll just put the pallets in this bay for now because I don't have any other vehicles that need to go in here. Is that going to stay? Come on. Oh, are you kidding me? The physics of pallets has always been a little bit frustrating to me. Pallet forks are really sticky for some reason. So sometimes it's hard to get stuff on and off the pallet forks. All right, let's get these flattened out. Okay. Okay, I guess that's as low as it's gonna go. Lower that down a little bit more. Okay. Yeah, I think I got a better handle on this one. I think with the other pallet, I actually got the forks below the pallet, and that's why it was acting funny. All right, so we'll put this one here. Hopefully it'll stay on the ground when I back up. Yeah, awesome. Okay, so it's starting to get light again. I'm going to slow time back down. Where should I put these forks? I think I'll just put them over here. Yeah, I'll just put them right here. Hopefully that'll be mostly out of the way. Okay, and then we can lower and disconnect the weight. I'll come around and put that on the front again. And then, well, before I do that, let's put the narrow tires on this thing so I can spray pesticide without destroying my crop. Crud. That thing's in the way. Let me see if I can just push it out of the way. I think it would be nice if, when you have more than one item in this zone, if it just gave you a drop-down menu to choose the one that you want. There we go. All right, we might as well repair it while we're here, and let's change our wheels to narrow tires. Okay, so this is going to cost us $1,000. But after that, I think it should be free for us to change now between narrow tires and regular tires. Yeah, there's no cost. So that's the advantage of having the workshop at your farm. You can do these modifications for free. Oh, what happened to my sun? All right, let's speed up time a little bit and get some sunshine. Okay, now let's put the front weight on. If you don't have your own workshop at the farm, you can do these customizations at the shop, but they will charge you for the work. And they have a very simple price structure. It's $1,000 for everything. So no matter what you want to do, you want to change your engine, it's $1,000. You want to change tires, that's also $1,000. I guess they make money on it somehow. Okay, Oh, sorry for that look around. I was looking at my watch. Okay. Yeah, and it's still a little dark. Looks like it's cloudy. All right, now the problem with spraying, yeah, so we can see that weeds now are 100%. You can see some of the weeds there. So we'll kill them with the herbicide here. Unfold. There we go. Now the problem I have with spraying when there's crop here is that it's hard to see where you've already been. So I'll do this one. I'll do this one myself. And I'll just try to get as close as I can to 100% coverage without overlapping too much. But I think for the other field, I'll probably just hire a worker to do it. Because the worker always goes in perfectly straight lines, and the worker always has a little bit of overlap, but it's not too much. Okay, so I'm just staring at this point on the ground. What the? I think this... What the hell's going on? Oh. Okay, now I think I can raise this thing. There we go. Okay, good. And I lost my point on the ground. Yeah, I'm probably too far to the right now, but that's okay. It's a small field, so even if I overlap a lot, I won't lose too much of my fluid. So you can see that when you have narrow tires, you can drive through your crop without destroying it. So that's the advantage of... It's really the only purpose of having narrow tires, is to avoid crop destruction. Okay. Yikes. A little too fast. Alright, so I think I can finish this in one more pass. And then I'll take a look at the map to see if I missed any spots. If there was sunshine, we might be able to see the soil get darkened by the liquid here. But because I've got clouds here, it's really hard to tell which areas I've gotten to and which ones I haven't. All right. But you can see that when you pass over those weeds, you can see those little green spots disappear. Now, I don't think they're actually disappearing. I think they're just turning black because they're dead. All right, let's fold that up so we can take a look here. All right, so weeds are 0% now. But yeah, you can still see where the weeds were. They're just dead now. But they should stay dead until we harvest. All right, let's head over to our other field. Okay, so on this one, I'm just going to get lined up with the first row, and we'll let the worker do this field. Now, when we get GPS mod again, this is one of those cases where GPS would be very useful. It'll help you keep your rows nice and tight and straight. Okay, so let's hire the worker. Yeah, and I love how the crop bends now when you touch it with something. In previous versions of the game, you would drive through the crop and it wouldn't move. And in fact, if you were driving through a tall crop like this, sometimes you could see it poke up through the floor of your tractor. So this is the realism here is a huge step up. Looks really nice. Now, realistically, we would probably want to raise this up a bit, but I think I can't do it with the worker. Yeah, so I'll just let it go like this. All right, let's take a look here. Okay, yeah, so I missed a little corner there and another one there, but that's not going to have any significant impact on our yield. So we'll get this field done. You'll notice that while you're in map view, it doesn't update in real time. So if we exit and then go back in, you can see the update, but you can see that we're clearing out the weeds. So we're doing good there. And I think we'll be able to get another, after this harvest, we should be able to get one more harvest from these fields, at which point we'll have to put down some lime. The lime has to go down every 3 harvests. Looks like he missed just the very edge of the field. But again, I mean, a couple tiny little slivers here and there, I'm not concerned about. That'll be like, it'll be 15% less yield on that little tiny point. And I just got an achievement for fertilizing 10 hectares. Let's see. Okay, weeds are a 20% penalty. So now I'm going to do some experiments because I'm not very clear here. It says you get a 65% yield bonus if you have 2 stages of fertilizer and lime has been applied when needed. But then it says to avoid a 35% malus, which I assume is a penalty. Actually, it makes sense that malus is the opposite of bonus. Remove bad weeds and then plow. But what's not clear to me is, does this mean that if everything is good, you get 165% of the yield? But if you have weeds, it drops down to 145. And if you haven't plowed, it drops down to 130 if you've done these things. Or does this mean that if it's weeded and plowed, you get another 35% bonus and then you get 200%? I'm not real clear on that because of the way that it's worded. I might just have to do an experiment on a test map and see what happens in those conditions. So, all right, well, I'm going to let this finish, and I will then speed up time until our crop is ready to harvest, because I think there's not much to do until then. I'm not real keen on doing contracts, so I'm not going to do any now. But especially since we're close to a harvest, I'm going to be getting some money. But in the future, when we have a long stretch of time with nothing left to do on our own farm, I might do a contract here and there, just to try out some of the other equipment. But generally, I find contracts to be not terribly interesting. I know it's a way to get some extra money, but for me, I think I get more satisfaction from developing my own farm and getting my money from that, rather than just doing a job to get a few bucks. So in general, I'm going to avoid doing contracts, unless you guys tell me that you really want to see me do some of them. Okay, well, thanks again for watching. I'll see you at the next episode. Have a great day. Bye-bye.